Hi, my name is Diana, and I love coming home late. So being a radio DJ at night is a great job for me. Sometimes I like being up late and listening to the radio. It's quiet and peaceful, and I can talk to other people who are also up late. When my show is over, I drive home on streets that are rarely crowded. My car and possibly an owl hooting are the only sounds. It makes me feel calm at the end of the day. Things were very different one night, though. As I walked out of the radio station, I saw there was super thick fog everywhere, like a scary cloud. It was so thick that the lighting couldn't even shine through it. The long shadows on the road looked like ghosts. I shivered a little, but I just thought it was because it was cold outside. When I got in my car and started driving home, I realized that this wasn't just normal fog. Even with my headlights on full beam, I could only see a few feet in front of me because it was so thick. I grabbed the steering wheel really hard and my fingers turned white. This drive home was going to take forever. Even though I was on a known road, the fog made it hard to see where I was going. Then, I saw something strange in my rearview mirror. At first, it was just dim headlights, but they got closer and brighter really fast. A chill ran down my spine again when I saw it was a big truck, like an 18-wheeler. It emerged out of the fog, looking kind of like a ghost ship in a foggy sea. I tried to calm myself down and told myself it was probably just another driver who happened to be out late. But something about the way the truck was moving seemed weird. It would appear in my mirror for a second, then disappear totally, only to show up again a few moments later. It was like the truck was playing a weird game of hide and seek in the fog. The truck just wouldn't leave me alone. No matter how fast or slow I went, it kept pace with me. It was like we were stuck together by an unseen rope, both stuck on this foggy road. Then it hit me. I was being followed. What had been a peaceful night drive had turned into a scary movie. I held onto the steering wheel so tight that my fingers were white and my heart was thumping like a drum. I didn't know who was driving the truck or what they wanted, but I knew I had to get away, and quick. The truck started acting even more crazy. 1 minute later, it would zoom closer, then slow way down and disappear back into the fog. Its horn blared loudly through the night, making me jump. The truck's bright lights flashed in my mirror, turning the whole fog into a big white sheet that blinded me. I tried everything to shake the truck. I swerved this way and that, hoping to fool the driver. But no matter what I did, the truck was always there, like a creepy shadow in my mirror. The fear felt like ice around my heart, getting stronger by the second. I knew I had to do something drastic to leave this truck. In a panic, I jerked the wheel and turned onto a tiny side road, hoping the truck wouldn't be able to follow. But to my complete fear, the truck screeched around the corner, right behind me, its horn screaming even louder. I slammed my foot on the gas pedal and my car yelled in anger as it zoomed down the empty road. But no matter how fast I went, the truck was always there, like a scary monster in my rearview mirror. In a total panic, I jerked the wheel away from the main road and onto a super skinny, curvy path that went through an old, abandoned plant area. The buildings looked like creepy ghosts in the fog, their empty windows staring at me as I sped past. The road was awful, all bumpy and full of holes that made my car jump like crazy. But I couldn't slow down, no way. The truck was still right behind me, its headlights shining like angry eyes in the fog. I kept turning, hoping to lose the truck in this confused maze of empty streets. But it didn't work. In this nightmare chase, the truck was like glue, stuck right on my tail. The fog got heavier and thicker, and all I could see outside my car was a whirling white mess. I started to freak out really bad because I realized I was stuck. This industry area was like a big maze with dead-end streets everywhere, and I was driving deeper and deeper with no clue how to get out. And the whole time, the truck was right there behind me, a scary reminder of the danger I was in. I finally chose to face this scary thing. I pulled over to the side of the road, my hands shaking so badly that I could barely hold my phone. I put in the numbers for the cops, my fingers fumbling all over the screen. but just as I was about to hit call, the truck roared past me. Its horn blasted like crazy, super loud in the quiet night, and then it disappeared. The fog swallowed it whole. For a moment, I just sat there, totally shocked. The quiet after the truck left was even louder than its horn. My heart was still racing like a drum in my chest, and I could hear it clearly in the quiet car. I took a shaky breath and relief rushed over me. I was okay. The truck was gone. But as I started my car again and pulled back onto the road, I just couldn't rest. That truck scared me way too much. I kept sneaking peeks in my rearview mirror, totally expecting to see those headlights pop out of the fog again. The fog finally started to clear as I drove, and I could see the road a lot better. But the fear wouldn't leave me alone. It was like a bad friend who wouldn't stop following me. All I wanted was to get home, lock the doors, and forget this whole awful night. In the end, I reached into my neighborhood, and the familiar houses looked amazing after all that fear. But as I turned onto my own street, my heart jumped into my throat. There it was, sitting just a few houses away from mine. The same scary black truck. Fear grabbed me again like a cold hand. But I knew I had to do something. My hands shook as I dialed the cops on my phone, describing everything in a shaky voice. In just a few minutes, I heard the sound of sirens getting closer. The cops showed up and talked to the truck driver. Guess what? It turned out to be a big mistake. The driver was lost, looking for a building nearby. He followed me because he thought I knew where he was going. Relief and confusion washed over me as the cops drove away and the trucker left. What started as a normal drive home became a crazy night I'd never forget. This whole event scared me, but it also taught me something important. Since I live alone, I need to be extra careful to stay safe. The very next day, I bought a GPS tracker for my car. If something like that ever happens again, I can quickly share my location with someone so they know where I am. What's up, guys? My name is Wendy. Life was super noisy lately, so I stuffed everything in my car and took off on a long drive. People loved driving on this route because it had such beautiful views. It was like looking at old photos. But it also had scary stories about ghosts and people going missing. Even though I don't believe in ghosts, the idea was cool. As I drove, the sun went down and I knew this trip would be very different. The last bit of sun went down and the road looked different. The trees' shadows got bigger and stretched across the road like creepy monster fingers reaching out. The pretty sight turned into a strange silence. The lights on my car helped me see a little, but not much. It was really dark out. I turned on the radio to feel less alone, but all I got was fuzz and weird sounds that seemed like someone talking in a muffled way. I tried to forget about it and focus on driving, but a weird feeling started growing in my stomach. It seemed like the whole road was alive with a million eyes watching me in the dark. The deeper I drove into the night, the more alone I felt. It was just me, my car, and the dark, endless road. The lights on my dashboard were the only lights for miles around. I looked at my phone, but there was no service. Again? It happens a lot on this lonely route. The silence without my phone was terrifying. No tweets, no calls, nothing from the outside world. I hadn't seen another car in what felt like forever. I felt totally alone, like a big blanket was wrapped around me. Earlier, I was excited, but now I was just creeped out. I tried to tell myself it was just a road trip, nothing special. But with every mile, I felt further away from everything usual and closer to something different. Wait, what was that? A shiver went down my back. I saw something weird in my mirror, a person standing in the road where there was nothing a second ago. I blinked, and it was gone, like a ghost. My heart pounded, and I could barely focus on driving. Maybe it was just the moonlight making shadows dance? But why did it feel so weird, like it was after me? I couldn't help but be scared. I wasn't alone on this road, that much I knew. The thing in the mirror was quick, but it scared me really bad. It felt like a scary seed was placed in my brain and it wouldn't stop growing. I kept driving, but everything was a blur. I was on super high alert. Then I saw lights way far back, but they got closer fast. They weren't normal car lights, they were flashing and moving all over the road. My car started freaking out too. The lights dimmed. The radio went crazy with a voice that sounded like a monster, and my GPS went nuts, showing impossible directions. I started to worry because something weird was chasing me. The lights got super close, shining in a way that made my heart race. I slammed on the accelerator pedal, trying my best to get away. The road felt like my enemy now. Every turn could be a trap set by this scary thing after me. Suddenly, I saw an abandoned car on the side of the road. It looked exactly like mine, like a creepy warning sign. I slowly walked closer, even though I was scared. Inside, I found a torn note written in messy handwriting that said, "Get out of here, don't even look back." It was like a sign from another scared driver who had been through the same horrible experience. I looked around in the dark, totally expecting a monster to jump out. This note made it clear. This road was taking people, and I was next. My hands were shaking as I got back in my car. That note scared me even more, but it also made me even more eager to get away from this nightmare. I hit the accelerator, pushing my car to its maximum speed. The engine sounded mad, but I didn't care. The road, which seemed normal before, now felt like a puzzle trying to catch me. Those weird lights were still behind me, like a ghost I couldn't get rid of. I turned the wheel and slammed on the accelerator, trying anything to escape. The wind howled like a crazy dog, and my heart thumped like a drum solo in my chest. Then, just as the night started to get a little brighter, I saw buildings in the distance. People. Hope flooded through me. I gave the creepy lights one last look, but they were getting fainter as the sun rose. Finally, I was safe. It was like a scary movie that just finished. Even though I was back in the light with regular people again, I couldn't shake the feeling that everything wasn't a dream. My hands were still shaking as I looked at stuff online about that road. There were stories and sites all about weird things happening there. People missing, crazy stuff, warnings from other cars. It felt like that road wasn't even part of our world. Knowing others had seen the same stuff was kind of comforting, but not really. That road messed with me for sure, like a scar left over from a scary night. I told myself to never drive on that scary road ever again, but a tiny part of me knew it would always be there waiting for me in the distance. Hey world, Frank here. I am a traveling vlogger, and one day we were filming how cool this huge forest is out in the middle of nowhere. We're really far from any towns, and it's great. On top, the trees are so thick that they almost hide the sky. The sky is getting darker faster, but I don't mind because I love adventures like this. We're basically like travelers in a secret world, finding awesome stuff to show you all. Wait a minute. Things are beginning to seem strange. The flying camera that we controlled from a distance stopped working, while the standard camera kept making everything blurry. For the video, I try to joke about it, but I feel like someone or something is watching us. It's like the whole forest is alive. Right away, oh no, out of the blue, a crazy rainstorm hits us. We can barely see anything because of all the rain, and our car is basically moving into a swimming pool. Looks like our adventure just got a whole lot crazy. Get ready, because things are about to get really interesting. The rainstorm kept going and going, like a giant monster wouldn't stop screaming. Then, to make things even worse, our car coughed and stopped. We were stuck in the pitch-black bush with no way to start the car. My cameraman and I looked at each other, totally freaked out. This wasn't meant to happen. Outside, the rain transformed into blurry shapes that danced around us. Despite the crazy wind, I thought I heard footsteps, not just raindrops hitting the car, but heavy steps coming closer. I stopped breathing, hoping I was just dreaming things. But then I heard them again, even closer this time, and a scary feeling hit me. We might not be alone. Panic started to take over as the footsteps walked around our car, like a scary animal following its prey. The storm was so loud that we couldn't hear who or what was making the steps. With no phone service and a dead car, we were totally cut off from help. My hands were shaking so much, but I grabbed the camera and turned it on. If this was the end, I wanted someone to know what happened. My cameraman, ever the pro, filmed through the window, showing the creepy darkness all around us. My voice was just a whisper as I talked into the camera, describing what was happening. We were scared out of our minds, but somehow I also felt motivated. We would face whatever came next, together, and our camera would record it all. As the first light of dawn peeked through the trees, the storm finally gave up. The creepy footsteps also disappeared. We were totally wiped out and scared, but hey, we were alive. Even though the forest looked scary before, now it seems kinda quiet. Our comfort didn't last long though, because a group of people who were looking for lost people found us. They told us stories about the forest and warned us about the spirits that live there, looking for people who get lost. Our trip wasn't just about survival, it was like we almost met something strange. The videos we shot that scary night became more than just a vlog for my channel. They showed evidence of unknown hidden things. We went to show off the forest's beauty, but ended up finding out its scariest secrets. Back in the safe world, I kept thinking about what happened. The forest changed us. It showed us that there are things out there we can't even explain. I shared my thoughts with my fans in a final vlog from home. It went global, which we didn't expect, but the views and likes weren't the important part. What mattered was the lesson we learned. Respect the power of nature and all its secrets. Our videos are like a warning for anyone who wants to visit new places. Be prepared, be polite, and remember, some secrets are better left alone. For us, the Forest of Whispers will always be a place that scares us and fills us with awe. A memory of the night we faced something we couldn't explain.